Welcome to episode 31 of the Rebel Army podcast, the official podcast of Cork City Football Club. And this week we talk to Danny Murphy about the season just gone with the women's team, and we look ahead to the trophy night. Back for another episode, joined as always by Aaron Howie. How are you?
All good, Stephen. All good. How are you?
Yeah, what happened to the lads the other night?
I don't know.
Did they fall asleep after scoring the first goal? Or
it
what?
wasn't. It wasn't great, to be honest, was it? Second defeat in the same place against the same team.
What is it about that? Like, it was like, you know, it's like Treaty were drawing them all the time. And
Yeah,
then
I don't know.
to lose
Like,
Athlone.
to be fair to Athlone, now it's not like they're a bad side. Do you know what I mean? They're a very
they're
good
not.
team.
No,
they're
they're not.
in the playoffs.
They were doing well at one stage in the season. They were kind of pushing us a bit, but then they fell off a bit again.
They had a couple of rough weeks, and if that had happened a bit sooner, we would have won the league a bit earlier. Like, they were pushing us. They were the team that were second, like as we were going to win
that's right.
it.
And then
UCD slotted in.
Yeah.
But it wasn't ideal. It's just one of those games, really.
I suppose it's hard for the lads. Like they're probably not motivated. I'm not saying that they don't try, but I'm just saying it's very hard.
Yeah,
to kind of get going.
We spoke about that on this podcast a couple of times. Like, even with the best will in the world, maybe it's just impossible to get yourself up for it fully. I don't know. You know, it's the football side of things is kind of, you know, it's not our, like, we're the media side of things, so we don't really have the same mentality or the same viewpoint on it. But like, yeah, the league has won.
They're kind of already, and even talking to one or two of the lads when we had Rory, there's nearly a focus on what's happening next season already, isn't there? In many ways.
There is, I'd say, but at the same time as well, you don't want to lose 4-1 away to anyone.
And plus, there's going to be players. I mean, obviously, like, you know, people are probably still fighting for a place. There's probably going to be moving around during the winter period.
There will be, yeah.
There'll be new players come in. Unfortunately, that means some people might have to go. So you would think that in the back of some of their minds that they have to kind of make an impression in some cases, you know?
Yeah. I'd imagine Tim sort of probably has his mind made up by now anyway. But still, you still want to, if there are players that are leaving, you know, they want to do well to impress their next club.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Stuff like that.
Yeah.
On that topic, we will have movement this week in terms of re-signings and stuff, possibly by the time this podcast is out.
Oh, yeah?
We might have one or two bits up. I know I have taken a couple of pictures and a couple of videos. I just don't know when they're going out yet.
Okay.
But,
you don't want to give us an exclusive?
Not yet, just in case it doesn't come out by the time this podcast goes out, and then there's a lot of editing for me to do. But,
okay, we leave it off.
We'll be moving on.
Watch this
stuff.
space. Make sure you're checking the socials and stuff like that.
Make sure you're following us. But
I'm sure you are if you're listening to this anyway.
And if you're not, make sure you are on everything. Go check everything.
Yeah. It would be interesting to see actually how many people listen to the podcast but aren't really on social media.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's another audience that might do that actually as well.
Or people just who maybe have come across the podcast sort of organically and haven't been keeping up to date on social media. But if you are not following us, go over there. We're on every social media you can think of at Cork City FC. And it's going to be a busy couple of weeks from signings and merchandise and 2025 season tickets and stuff like that. Like, it's a busy period coming up.
How did the academy get on over the weekend?
It was a funny one, actually. It's almost like everyone played UCD. Like, it was Cork City versus UCD on the boys' side. Every team that played.
That's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, it's an unusual one. So the under-20s played them in Bishopstown. 2-0 win. Matthew Murray and Harvey Skyders got the goals there. The women's 19s drew 1-1 away to Wexford. Chloe Atkinson had scored, I think, with 10 minutes left.
Yeah.
And then Wexford equalised, which is a sickening way to end it. But that was that one. The men's 17s beat UCD again 4-1 in Bishopstown. Liam Quinn, Denzel Obenge, Donald O'Connor and Jaden O'Donovan got the goals there. The women's 17s beat Shells 5-1. Shells obviously the champions last year. So that's a massive win. Lucia Lynch got 2. Emma Hurley got 1. Phoebe O'Shea got 1. And Orla McCarthy got the other one then. And the 15s lost 3-1 to UCD up in Mayfield. Alex O'Hurley, he got the city goal there. But yeah, an interesting one. A lot of UCD going on.
Sometimes I wonder with the fixtures like that, and you see kind of things. It's like, it's not obviously pulled out of a hat. There's obviously maybe some sort of
there's some formula to it.
You'd imagine, like, because it's not by coincidence that happens, like, you know.
I feel like it's happened a couple of times now. I know there was a weekend a couple of teams played Pats,
and I think there was one where there was a few Rovers teams as well.
Yeah,
the same thing. Yeah, so maybe. And at the start there obviously seems to be Cove games for the boys.
Yeah, and it's always one of those ones whenever there's like the odd midweek game or the odd Monday or Friday fixture, it's Cove or Limerick.
Just it's something to be some team nearby.
Yeah, by fluke.
By fluke. But obviously, our our women's team are finished. So they haven't been playing, but we have got Danny in to talk to us about the season just gone.
It's been an up and down season, really. There's been a lot of ups, a lot of downs. Just a lot going on. Like, we had 2 weather disasters. We had the Galway away game moved last minute.
Yeah.
We had our last game of the season against Sligo moved last minute. So it really was entertaining is probably the wrong word, but there was an element of entertainment to everything that went on. Although the league position a couple of weeks ago, we were doing really well in mid-table and we fell off a bit.
Dropped down a bit,
So probably an up and down end to an up and down season.
Yeah.
But look, good time to get Danny in to sort of look back and review it, I suppose.
Let's bring the main man in himself to talk about what his
take
feelings are. His take, yeah. Welcome back to the podcast, Danny. 3rd visit, and although it actually is kind of your 4th appearance, there was one other little brief appearance with the live show as well.
Yeah, no, I thought I was going to get a match ball or something like that for coming in.
Hat-trick?
Didn't get, got me a hat-trick.
We never thought of that. We
didn't even get a glass of water.
A golden microphone or something.
Yeah, no, look, it's all good. Promoting, as getting on to help promote what we're doing within the club is everything that comes with the job and what you want to do.
Yeah. I suppose, reflecting on the season, probably disappointing end, I'd say, in many ways. Is it like finishing 9th in the league?
Yeah, we finished 9th, and I just think we kind of pitted out a little bit after the semi-finals.
Yeah.
And yeah, this was a disappointing end, in conceding the goals we conceded in the last couple of games was disappointing. But like, I think if you look back on the season as a whole, and like when we go back through it, there was some really, really good things done in the season and some really good results, some really good performances. And look, we've improved on last year, and I definitely think that we've improved as a team. We've improved on performances, and we've got to keep building. And it was never going to be a case of get in, get the job done, win a league, and like it was always going to be something that's going to take time and be over a period of time to get to where we want to get to. Like I want to be where Athlone are and where Shells are, and I want to be at that end of the table. And I know the girls do as well, and we've just got to tidy up on things and improve on some areas of our game, and we're more than capable of doing that.
The middle section was probably your best spell, really, like during the kind of the summer months, but that was disrupted as well with a lot of games on off, kind of. But I know, like, your last league win was probably July. Was it against Bows? Was that the last? But then there was a lot of there was cup, obviously, but then there was weeks where you weren't playing. There's a lot of disruption.
Yeah, it can be frustrating, and I think whenever you kind of feel that you get into a bit of a rhythm in games, and then you have a break, or there's a national break, or we have a bye week, and like hopefully next year the way things are set out, hopefully there isn't as many breaks and it's a little bit better. But it is hard to have that consistency, like in terms of playing week to week, just game, and you can build momentum in things like that. Look, it can go the other way as well.
Yeah.
If it's not going quite well, and I think that's probably the biggest frustration sometimes, that you have that, like we'd have a decent result and then or have a good performance, and then we've got 2 weeks where we don't have a game the following weekend, and then it's hard to not keep the girls motivated, but keeping them in game mode and keeping them in like their mind in the place where this is what we've done well, this is what we've improved on. Like you're starting again, and you're trying to build again, and like, it's difficult for the players as well. Like because as a player, being a player and knowing what it's like, there's no better thing than going game than it is game mid-season break, week off, game, another break, and then it's difficult. Like it's just from one, you're not going from one to the next and building on it.
Will the addition of Waterford help next season, having that extra, not having that week off? Like every team has to take 1 week off this season because there was an odd team there. Will that help? Yeah,
it should help, and I think that based on kind of like a rough look at the fixtures, I think is the Euros next year as well.
I think so. Yeah.
So there's obviously going to be a break in the season for that.
Yeah.
But like, do we really need to have the break for it? When the Euros is on, is it worth keeping it going because you'll get people will be interested, and people instead of you wait for the Euros to be finished, and you're hoping people come out and watch games, but it's in their mind and they're watching games, and they might be out then, I'll go to the City game the weekend because that's on. Like, and I think like, is there any need for the break?
Unless obviously the Irish team are in it, and then there could be a couple of players from, I know it's like the Rovers and stuff in Galway, might have players in it. We could have, who knows? But that's probably something that has to be considered too, I'd imagine.
Yeah, no, and I think that you can probably work around that though, can't you? Really, you can manage that and say, look, maybe this team might have it, or wait until nearer the time and say, look, there's a potential for breaking it, but if no one's got any players in it, then we won't have the break.
Is the shortage of games, like the fact that every team, only plays each other twice kind of thing, like, is that detrimental to the league in terms of there's not enough games to build momentum? Or like what? Like just from the outside looking in, it seems like a very short league.
Yeah, I do like the point that you only play each other twice home and away. I do like that point. I think like if you look on the men's side, it can get a bit.
Well, you play 4 times.
Yeah, and then you could end up having them in the cup, and you're then going. And I think from a fan's point of view, if you've seen your team already beat someone 3 times, you're not going to go to the 4th one.
Yes.
So it can be a bit like looking at maybe with the men's this year, like where you've dominated so much, the people lose a little bit of interest because of you've played them. I've already watched you play them twice. So, so I do think going to playing each team twice is much better. I think it'd be difficult to play 3 or 4 games on the girls' side because we couldn't play midweek because.
Yeah, because it's all amateur.
So you wouldn't be able to do that. So that probably is a reason for why it probably works having it that way.
Yeah.
But maybe you could throw another cup competition in there or something like that.
Or a playoff or something like that. Or is there some other type of thing that you could come up with? Yeah, it just feels like it starts later and obviously finishes a bit earlier. So you have a very long off-season now.
Yeah, so we're off now. We're off most of October, November, December. We'll probably start back around the 18th of March. You'll be back in training around the 18th of January. So it's like 2.5 months nearly, of 3 months more or less of idle weeks of doing nothing, and you're trying to keep girls motivated, keep them going, and you want to, it's hard because we'll probably come back into the gym around December time. They'll get their own programs for November. We'll be back in the gym in December and then back on the pitch in January. And you're trying to keep them tipping over, but it is way too big a break. I understand why you'd have a break at that time of the year because you look at the conditions even today and the weather out there, it's not ideal to keep things going this time of year.
Yeah.
But do you start a little bit earlier? I don't know. It's difficult.
Maybe,
I think the weather is the big issue. And then when you've got men's and women's teams sharing stadiums and pitches,
which we've had the issue in Turner's Cross this year,
and you lose the quality of the pitch, and the whole point of doing that was to have the quality of the pitches and playing summer football. So, I think it's a tough balance to do it all, but could you do an off-season tournament? I don't know. Could you do where you do a Munster tournament where you get us, Limerick, Waterford, and Cove, and you go into a 4-team tournament just to at the end of the season, just so that the break's not too big. And could you do one in Dublin? Could you do a Galway-based one, and get 4 or 5 teams together and just have a little 4-team mini tournament, and just to help players keep going?
Like with the growth of the women's game in England, our season probably doesn't suit because in an ideal world, you'd love to bring some of them teams over, especially maybe someone like Arsenal with Katie McCabe playing. She's such a big name to take on some of the Irish teams. Probably good for them as well, to build a profile of international players and so on. But our season doesn't fit with theirs at all.
Yeah, and when they're in the summer,
you're busy.
We're probably in season, and then you'd have to play a game kind of midweek. And if you're looking at things now, we spoke to a couple of clubs about potentially coming over doing so next year, but a lot of the women's teams clubs now going abroad. They're going Australia, USA, and
they're skipping this.
So they've gone from I know that one of the clubs we spoke to, they're actually travelling with the men's team.
Okay,
and they'd be a really high profile club. So we was talking to them about potentially coming over, but they're now travelling with the men's team to Singapore, and you're so the clubs are actually in England are actually
interesting.
Yeah, having their women's team involved with their men's teams to go and do the travel and do get the exposure and to promote the teams and to get them to where they want to get them to. And I think we can't compare where we are with the English league.
No, not
we don't have the resources to do it, and we're a million miles away from being anywhere near that. And to think we can compete at that level and is we've got so much groundwork to do before we even get to there.
Yeah, because I was thinking, could we piggyback off their success in the same way that years ago teams in the old first division used to come here in their pre-season because they didn't go to America back then. They didn't go to Australia and places like that. Maybe the odd time, maybe the bigger clubs, the Liverpools and the Uniteds of the world, but the smaller clubs never went anywhere like that. They stayed around Europe, and most of the time they came for pre-season to Ireland. And I'm thinking, could we do the same with the Women's Super League in England, like and piggyback off the superstars?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think the cost of coming to Ireland and being here is like, I know through working in one of the hotels in Cork, and that was my role, like to bring teams in, and the cost of coming to Ireland is like nearly double the cost of going to Spain.
Yeah,
and then you go to Spain, you're getting the weather. So
that's true.
like. It's difficult to bring teams here now because the cost of actually a team coming and being in a hotel for a week, using training facilities and playing a game, like you're probably, as a club, going to end up having to pay a percentage of that bringing them here, and you've got to hope then you make that back on a gate. And to attract the best teams to come here and play here is difficult, because if they go off to the US or they go off to Asia and places like that, they're getting paid to go and play there. So like the cost of these clubs going and doing that is probably half the amount of what it costs to come here and do it. So it makes sense for them to go abroad and do it than to come here, and not guaranteed the weather. And do they see the League of Ireland as the competition that they can come and play against and get a good pre-season game?
Get a good game, that could be the challenge as well. And so that's probably your challenge over the winter as well, is to hold on to the good players that you have at the moment. Like, I'm sure there is bigger clubs starting to look at some of the younger promising players, or maybe the players that you brought in, some of the international players that you brought that played very well this season. So, like, what's your plan in the off-season? No?
Yeah, no, look, obviously we want to keep most of the squad in, and we're looking at bringing a couple of new players in. We're talking to players at the moment and trying to get some things done. And look, ideally we'd love to have them all done before Christmas. And, but as you can see with the way with Dorothea and Colleen this year, and they come they might not get here till January, February, and you might still be having conversations around players then. And I think because of the break so long between now and January, you've got to hope that the players you're kind of looking at don't get offered something now to go and play in a different league in a different country. And they're the conversations we're kind of having with people, is like, look, I understand you might have something in Scandinavia or you might have something there, but like the biggest thing for us is if we can help improve players and make them better, that it is becoming a shop window for English clubs now. And clubs are looking at the players in this country and looking at them going, do you know what? And the money that's lower down in the leagues now in England, like you look at Jess Hennessy going to Forest and Malloy going to Sheffield United, like the money in them clubs is good, like, and they are paying good money for players. So like the career opportunities for girls is good, and it's, for me, it's like we're not at a stage as a league or as a country to be able to
provide a career
or to keep the best players here, and that's going to always be a challenge for us. But if we can give girls an opportunity and help them progress and help them develop and put them on the right path to becoming a professional, then I think that has to be one of our aims as a club. Like, look, if 3 of our younger girls go off to England, which looks certain that they probably will in the next 2 months, then we've done our job. As a club, we've provided them with the opportunity to play at an elite level. We've helped them develop, and we've taken them as far as we can take them. And that now is down to them to go and have their professional career and hopefully have a really good long career in the game.
There's been a lot of media speculation, obviously, about Ava. I presume, she was already, like, it seems like public knowledge that she was in trials with a couple of clubs over there. How does that feel for you then as a coach? Because she's one of your star players. Are you hoping that she stays, or you kind of have to accept the fact that she might end up going anyway?
You always hope that they stay and you can keep your best players, but at the same time, you've got to help a player progress in their career. And we're like, if she goes and she goes to a club and she ends up having a long career, like we've had as a club and as coaches, we've had a part to play in that. So like, it's something we can be proud of and someone we can look up to. Like we look at Denise O'Sullivan and the career she's had. Like we've had some sort of
part to play in that.
And Saoirse Noonan, and like they had an opportunity to start their careers here, and
Saoirse's done very well in the Women's Champions League this season.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so like we've had a part to play in that. Look,
Mm.
and we might not have got them to where they are now. A lot of that is done by themselves and the commitment and the level of ability they have. But we've still had help them with that platform and to get to the opportunities and to get somewhere. And I think like we've got to take them things as saying, look, we know we can't do the other stuff. We know we're not going to be fully professional and be able to give you a career in the game, but we're going to help you, give you a platform to go and have a career and help you try and get to where you want to get to. And I think that's you have to be realistic with things. And you look at like teams come into the league in the women's side and have thrown money at it, and that money is now all of a sudden going down and down every season because they're not making the money back. And having full-time players at the moment is just until the finances are sorted out from the governing body and from the government and there's resources to be able to do that, it's going to be very difficult for clubs to sustain that.
You know, obviously they've come through our academy and stuff like that. The men's side have had huge success this year with bringing in a lot of young players. Are you going to spend the off-season even looking at your own academy to see who's ready to step up to the plate now for next season? Is there a couple of players that have been playing with the under-17s and stuff that you think are ready to move into the seniors?
Yeah, so we had Grace Flanagan and Zoe Finity up with the seniors this year. They've done well this year and they've done very well at under-19 level, and we're looking at them, you know, potentially for next year for senior. And like they're both two very good players and they're young, and you know we still have some good young players in the squad that you know. Look, Ellie got injured at the start, midway through the season. Towards the start, came back and it just wasn't right. And then, you know, you're hoping that the break for her would be able to get her ankle right and she'd be able to come back and be flying fit, and it'd be like a new player having her back. And like, she's got huge amounts of potential as well. And like you forget, like Heidi Mackin's still 18, Neve Cotter's 18, you know, Kira Senna's 17, I think maybe 18 now. And you got Orla Omani's 18, 19. You know, Eva's still 20, and like you've still got a young enough squad. Chloe as well. Like they're all still kind of young, and they've still got a lot to learn. And to get to like within the next 2 to 3 years, you want them to be. They'll have had like 30, 40 league games under their belt and be better players. Like you know, you look at Cloda. Cloda's 17, and like she probably played 30, 40 games at senior level as a goalkeeper within the next year, and like, that's a huge amount to play as a goalkeeper, you know. So we still have some good young players, and we need to get some experience in with them, and we need to find the right players like we did this year that come in, they do well, they help the younger girls develop and improve.
And the international experience has helped. The likes of Colleen coming in, playing around, and obviously the US and Scandinavia and stuff like that. Becky coming back. I'd imagine those definitely helped, I'd say, the younger players as well, mentoring them even.
No, massively they do. Like they help us as coaches as well, because they can communicate on the pitch. They talk players for a game. They give information on the pitch and the right information. So like, you know, Becky, Colleen and Doro, like they're really good at it, and they've made a massive difference for us this year having them. So like bringing in more players like that will only help the younger girls get better. And like there's areas we want to strengthen within the squad, and you know that's my job now in the off season to try and find the right players to try and bring in that we don't feel we quite have it within the club or in the academy, and we have to find them from outside the club.
Just looking back in the season on a whole, first of all, what was the low point of the season in your opinion that like you know that you could learn from? You know, what was the part you said, you know, we don't want to revisit that again? Like what was the game that you think, forget it, you know?
Every time we bloody play Shells.
Obviously the semi-final in the Cup was a bit of a blow after, you know, there was momentum, there was a bit of hype, and to lose by the number you did.
We had a couple of decent opportunities in the first 35 minutes against Shells, and like they have one on us at the moment. Like we seem to really struggle against Shells as a club, especially on the girls' side, and I think that's an area we want to improve on next year. I think we probably had that with Shamrock Rovers in the past, with Peamount in the past, and we've kind of put them things to bed now, and we're able to get results off them clubs. And Bows.
You think a lot of it is in the mind, like that they're nearly defeated before they walk on the pitch, kind of?
No, I wouldn't say defeat before they go on the pitch. I think that there's moments within the game that can deflate her.
Okay.
And I think that we'd go into every game really believing we can win it and get a positive result. And I think that certain moments happen within the game that, you know, can affect how you perform and how you play. And I think, like I look at whenever we play Shells, like sometimes it's decisions that are made by out of our control that affect the performance and can feel like, oh, again, when we play them, it's going to be like this. And I think there's little bits like that. And like maybe as a coaching staff, we sometimes feel like that, but we'll look at ourselves and look at, right, how do we make that right? How do we correct that? How do we get things better? And I think that I wouldn't say there was like loads of low moments in the season this year. I said there was a lot of positive moments. I think we probably created more chances in the last 2 games than we did all season, just didn't punish teams.
Yeah.
But they're probably the low moments of when you feel like you're really in a game and you should win it and you come away with it without getting what you want. And then there's games where you feel like you got something out of the game, you shouldn't have got something out of the game. And like, I think that's just the emotions of football, like that, and that's something you have to learn to deal with. And we've had some really, really good moments this year and some really positive things happen, and we've just got to keep building on them. And like we try to reset every time if you have a bad result, things don't go your way. Like can't go back and fix that, but what we can do is move forward and be better and try to improve the next training session after that, and going into the next game and being better. And I think we've had that mindset this year, and I think that's why we've had a positive season in terms of how we've performed and how we've done. And I know one of the parents of the players done something for me the other day just in terms of stats and stuff like that, and based on the last 2 years in terms of the overall outstanding of like looking at performance against each team and how each team kind of stat. Like we finished second between us and Treaty. It was first and second in terms of improvements made over a 2-year period. So like there is significant improvements made, and are we starting to catch other teams? I really do think we are, and it's just a small few minor details of what we need to improve on. Like we looked at it as a coaching staff the other day, like parts of the season probably playing too many different formations, having to mix the team a little bit too much in terms of when players were out missing. We're not feeling we could play the same formation as the week before, and having to manipulate and change things, and having a consistent formation of how we want to do things, how we want to press, how we want things to look, and not trying to set up going from week to week into each team we're playing, but having, look, this is our style of play, this is how we do stuff, this is what we're going to stick to. And if it doesn't work for that particular game, we can look at it and we can improve it. Whereas I think we had some injuries and players missing, and we probably had to move things around too much, and that ain't helpful on the players either, because you're probably a little bit of confusion. But they're things that we'll get better at, we'll make sure don't happen again, and we'll improve on. And as I said, like we always sit down as a staff and after every game and sit there and go, like, what did we do wrong? What can we do better? And I think because we're quite open to do that, and we'd always say, if we didn't feel we got something right, we'd be open and say, we got it wrong. Like I've had conversations with 1 or 2 of the players this year who probably didn't play for a certain reason in the game, and you have a conversation with them at training, you're like, I probably got that wrong. I probably should have played you. I probably should have gone this way. Should have been more attack-minded. But there are moments and times that you have within the week and you learn from and you get better at, and there are definitely things that we won't be doing next year. We're going to have this is our formation, what it looks like in possession, out of possession, and this is how things need to improve and get better. And if a player comes out being injured or suspended or for whatever reason on holiday, or this junior, 5th year holiday, 4th year holiday, whatever that is, and
loads of different things thrown at you in the middle of a season. And that's what happens, I suppose, when you have a young team as well that aren't obviously signed up into a contract as pro.
Yeah, and you have to respect players for doing stuff like that and being able to do that. I mean, you're always going to have 1 or 2 that kind of want to have a social life, want to be able to do things outside of football, and you're going to have the ones who are fully wanting to just be in it all the time and want to stick to it and
want to go all the way to the top and represent our country and stuff. Yeah,
and that's the biggest thing. And I think, like, it's just trying to manage them things can be frustrating, can be hard, especially when you need players and someone might be injured and people are not there. It's challenging for you as coaches because you do have to move things around. But this year we're saying, look, we want 2 players for every position. When we go into a game, if Sanso's missing, who plays as a defensive midfielder, we know that person
that's coming in
who can come in and take that position, and we then got to move 3 or 4 people around to make something work. And that's our biggest aim, to have the consistency. And I think if we can build that and have that, which we had probably the middle part of the season, is why we got our results. We had that consistency and was able to do it. That it does make the team more consistent. It does make you a better team.
Some of the highs were probably around then, but I'm guessing beating Rovers, Piedmont, they were kind of big moments in the season, I'd imagine, were they?
Yeah, I think definitely beating Rovers at home from a tactical point of view, the girls just got it spot on. Like everything was right, and we played so well. I think even up in Rovers, when we drew 1-1, we played tactically again, got it really well, really the focus and the concentration in the game. Look, we conceded late on in the game, but that happens when you're under pressure, and but that was really good. I think probably Bowes at home. I think it was the cup game. We played at a 4-4-2 to start off with, and then we knew we could only get certain minutes out of certain players within the game, so we set up in a way to try and nullify that in the first half, and then hopefully we can bring them players on in the second half. And we changed formations in the second half and went to a 4-3-3, and we won the game 2-1 with Doro's goal, and it was just like, whoa, like that was probably the biggest buzz.
Yeah,
like that was unbelievable.
The significance of it as well, quarterfinal of a cup and stuff like that as well.
It's really weird because like when you win a game, the buzz is there for like half an hour, 30 minutes after the game, and then it's like, right, then let's continue that. But then when you lose a game, it lasts days. Yeah. And like you're like, what did we get wrong? How do we change things? What do we need to do better? And you look so much more into things when you're not, you don't get the result what you want. And I think like it's managing them things better as well, like because as staff and after the game, if you win or you lose, trying to have the same emotions in terms of how you move into the next week. And they're all things that you learn and we're definitely getting better at and improving on. But like, yeah, it's a really weird feeling because you win and you're buzzing and everyone's delighted and you're back into training and the buzz is there. And then if you don't win, everyone's down and you're trying to pick people up, and then you're going into training, you're trying to pick people up and trying to get them out. So it's such a different feeling because the buzz of winning doesn't last very long, but the buzz of losing, not buzz, but the feeling of losing it sticks with you. And it's
plays
tough.
on the mind, plays games.
It does. And it's like getting better at that mentally. And I think we've definitely really improved on that this year.
But that goal that you were talking about there, that Dara scored, there was a few of those type of goals this season. It was like one of those seasons where I think I'd say the women's team had better goals than the men's team this year, and definitely a couple of Ireland ones. Eva's one up the country as well early in the season as well.
One at Bowes.
Yeah. That kind of took off as well. Like, but there were some amazing goals.
I've scored some unbelievable goals this year. I mean, you got Eva's one, Orla's goal.
That's right. Yeah.
Dorothea's goal, Colleen's goal against Sligo up there. The goal we scored against Galway. It's 24 passes or 21 passes before that goal. Like we work it all the way down one side, back out the other. If it was scored at Premier League level, people would be going raving about it. But like, the goals that we've scored from outside the box, like we do encourage the girls to shoot.
Yes.
But sometimes
take your chance.
Like, take your chance. Like have a go. Like they can all strike the ball from distance.
Yeah.
We just don't do it enough. And I think the goal that Eva scored up at Bowes was a brilliant goal because Dorothea works back, wins the ball. Kali then Orla plays a ball with the outside of her foot down the line to Aveen. Then the ball into Eva is a good ball that she has to take high up with the outside of her foot with a good touch, spins the defender and then curls it in, and you're like going, it had everything, like the transition from attack to defence, then the transition from defence to attack, and it was just like so good, like in terms of that little moment within a space of 2 minutes. And then you look at like Dorothea's goal was like the ball from Alex into clean, perfect set off her chest, and then the way it just landed and the way she struck it was brilliant. And it's the same with Orla's goal. Like Orla's goal was excellent as well. Like,
but they're great adverts for the game.
Yeah.
And that's the type of moments that you need to hook people in. And like in terms of crowds this year, were you happy with them, or would you have expected a few more? Or
it's really difficult because I think there's some games obviously you're really happy with the crowds and what you get in, like, but you always want more. Like I'd love to have 800 to 1,000 at every game, but like I know me and Aaron were speaking about this earlier. Like, but when you're doing well, people come and support you.
Of course they do. Yeah.
And when you're having success on the pitch, people want to go and watch. Yeah. And we need to get the success on the pitch right for myself I do, and the girls want to, so that we can have people come into games. I think the 5 o'clock kickoff time can be challenging on a Saturday. Just looking at doing that differently. And I think that no matter what time you kind of have it, if you're doing well, people will go.
Yes.
So we need to try and we've spoke about a lot as a club, and how do we get more people in? How do we get out there and going into the schools? When the schools were out, that's when the crowds went down, because we was in the schools promoting it, getting them in, and how do we keep them coming to games in once we've got them out there from the schools? And is trying to sit down in the next week or two and putting a plan in place of going, look, we want to target this amount of people every game. How do we do that? And how do we get to that? And putting a strategic plan in place to be able to get there. And I think that's always a challenge for you as a club, because there are things that are out of your control. The only thing we can control is the performance and how we play. And the things that are out of our control is whether people go away on holidays or are available on a Saturday. And it's we need to create an advertisement for the game that people want to come and watch. And I think we play brilliant football. We're young. We've got players who want to be at the football club and love the football club, and that's our advertisement. And now we can get a few more worldy goals and get things going, and we'll be fine.
We might need to get Aaron to put a kind of little highlights package of goals of the season or something, and get people to vote for it or something.
It's just take all Coho O'Sullivan's goals out of it, and then our ones are definitely a win. But no, look, I think if you look at some of the goals that we scored, they've been exceptional goals, and we've had some really good play. And I think if you did compare the boys and the girls, like, you'd look at the goals and say, well, the girls will probably win goal of the season over that.
Yeah.
So no pressure on how you can put a video together, get people to vote on it, and see who wins.
And see who wins.
No, and and I think it's always the challenge of getting people in and trying to get more people into the games, and that's always something that we're always working on, not just on the girls' side, but on the men's side as well.
So obviously, you have a couple of months off, So what do you do? Like from now on, as you said yourself, 3 months before there's a training session again nearly.
Yeah, so the 17s and 19s are still playing at the moment. We're up till like the first week.
So you're going to be involved with them for now?
I'll be out watching the games, go out to some of the training sessions. It's nice to have a break. Like, it has been a long season, and you do need to have that break. So like I took a week off the other day, last week after the season, then we'd try and meet up with the girls once or twice, have a little five-a-side, little kick around and stuff like that. And
more fun kind of element.
Yeah, bring out coaches and join in and just have a little five-a-side and try and keep them interested in the game and keep growing the game and keep trying to keep them playing, and go and be around the 17s and 19s and trying to look at players, see who I feel needs to move up, who needs to be challenged, who needs to be the next person coming into the senior level. Because my biggest challenge every year is like, who's the next Kira Senna? Who's the next Clodagh? Who's the next Eva Mangan? Who's the next Saoirse Noonan? Who's the next Denise O'Sullivan? Like, where do we bring them through? And they're gonna come through our academy. And look, from our academy, there is lots of potential, and we need to be looking at them and going, right, who's the next 16-year-old that's going to step up go straight from 17s into senior level? And there is some girls in the 17s that are very strong and more than capable, I think, of doing that. And it's that's the pathway of the club and how we need to look at. And we just got to continue to keep doing that and keep growing the game in that way.
And you've kind of got involved in some other aspects of the club recently as well, more the community stuff. I know you've been involved in, the football memories and stuff. How are you finding all of that?
Yeah, no, do you know what? I love it, to be honest. I do. I really enjoy the football memories on a Monday. It's a good laugh. Like, we have a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, and we sit down and talk about things, and like some of the stories the lads have of like the football club and where it was, and like talking about how difference Turner's crosses. I think you was there. They were talking about that, and they was talking about the stands, and it goes from it just being grass banks to all of a sudden it's a full stadium.
Full stadium,
and now, like, from people standing mud up to their knees to now, and then I do the walking football, which I do like. It's the lads are brilliant, and
are they competitive?
Oh, very competitive. Yeah, like they all want to win, and when they go and play games, and when they're in the matches, they're all competitive and trying to tell them not to run. And I think some of them forget that they're 60, 55, 60, and they still think they can sprint up the line.
Until they pull a hamstring or something, maybe.
Yeah, so that's good. And then I do, I go down to just Castle, and I work with the refugees down there, and I do some football sessions with them. Good. So I do like 2.5 hours down there, and I take the kids, and
Yeah.
it was really a mix of boys, girls, a mix of age groups, and just let them come out, play football, just provide an environment for them to be able to play. And like, I really like seeing the look on kids' faces who don't really have a whole lot going from in life, that they can spend an hour of just smiling and running around. And then I took on the Down syndrome football, which is probably my favourite, if to be honest, because like you go out to it, and no matter how rough you've had of a day, or might have had to deal with something within the club, and it gets you down, and you turn up, and you don't have anything to worry about. Like,
they're happy.
They're happy.
They're enjoying the football.
Oh,
there was a tournament as well, wasn't there? Did they see a tournament?
Brilliant. Yeah, it was brilliant. Great. And to be fair to the FAI and everyone who put the tournament on, it was brilliant. The refereeing was brilliant in it. And I don't give referees a lot of credit, but they were excellent.
They were a bit more lenient.
Just even when someone made a mistake, instead of it being, oh, this is the decision, we've got to stick to that, it was like, hey, look, come back, try it again.
Yeah.
And it was like, it was brilliant. It was just, the whole day was really good, and like the lads had a great time, and they were exhausted afterwards. But like, we have 3 lads going with the Ireland trials based on how they did within the tournament.
Yeah.
And we was unlucky not to make the semi-finals, but Derry needed to win by 3 goals, and were drawing 2-2 and scored in the last minute. So it knocked us out of the semi-final. Yeah. But like, the whole day was great, and like, we've changed training from 1 day a week to trying to make it 2 days a week, but trying to fit it all in with them, with all the other sports and activities the lads have, has been difficult. Impressive thing with me was up in Dublin is the amount of girls that were playing.
Brilliant.
Yeah, and I love it. I do, and I come away from it all the time thinking like, that was great. Like, and you can go from being in an environment where it's high pressure, a lot, the anxiety, not anxiety, but stress of it, to come away from that and be like, this is fun, this is enjoyable. It's a good break for me.
Yeah.
Personally,
because good for the mind, I'd imagine.
Yeah, it massively helps me, because if you're in it, you can be. When I'm in something, I'm in it all the time, and I do everything to the best of my ability. And then to come out of that for like 2 hours of a week to just focus on a bit of fun and having enjoyment of it, I love it. And then we have the junior academy on a Sunday, and it's very
involved
similar.
In that as well?
Yeah, so then the junior academy on a Sunday, so. Yeah, and I'm probably at like 60 hours a week at the moment. But I'm just waiting for Howie to ask me to start doing some images for him and creating some stuff online for him. But no, look.
You've been on this so much, you might as well take this over as well.
I forgot to add the hours in for this. But no, look, I do everything because I enjoy it and I love the game, and I do it because I have a passion for it. And it's not work. It's just not. It's like, for me, it's what I love doing, and that's why I do anything for the football club, to be a part of it and want to be a part of it, and love all the aspects of the things I'm doing, because it's only helping the club from a commercial point of view, but also showing how much we actually do. Like, and I don't think people know how much we do.
Probably more so than, without kind of blowing our own trumpet, but probably more than any other sporting organisation in Cork. I'd imagine we're doing more for inclusivity than anybody else.
Yeah, no, 100% we are. I mean, like, we do the walk-in football. Like, I don't know how many other people are doing that, or other sports or organisations.
I don't know how many anyway, yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you could do that with other sports, really. And to be doing that, and we probably have, 20 lads in Mahon on a Wednesday. We have around 15 in Bandon on the Friday, and the bones of 35, 40 lads, boys and girls, doing the walking football. And then the Down syndrome football, we're up to around 14 players, and that's only going to grow and
That'll
bigger.
Get bigger, yeah. When the word gets out there.
Yeah, and going out and doing the stuff in Dressane Castle with the lads down there, and being a part of that is like really enjoyable, and being able to do more stuff with them. So like, we are trying to be better as a club and provide more for everyone. And I think that, maybe we need to probably promote more of the stuff that we do, which is difficult, because when you're trying to promote other stuff, like, something's going to get missed out, and you're not going to be able to put everything out all the time. And because all you do is you just end up bombarding people with stuff, and people will pay no interest to it. Whereas I think there's something going out in the Echo in the next week about the Down syndrome football, and then I'd like to do something going out about the walking football, and then the work we're doing down in just Sandcastle, and try to keep promoting what we do as a football club, because uh, all the things we're doing, a lot of it's we're getting the funding for them things, but there's still so much more we could do with more funding.
Yeah, and we have a couple of events coming up. Obviously, there's a comedy night there in the Everyman, and people often wonder, you're a club owned by an individual. But yeah, that only goes so far. I mean, if we want to become bigger and we want to do more inclusive stuff and we want to get more involved in the community, we do need support. And obviously, nights like that are going to be important if you buy tickets. But I'd imagine even political support as well, and trying to get some funding from other aspects, not just the FAI.
Yeah, no, but definitely, I think for the amount of stuff that we do, we probably don't get enough funding for the things that we do, and like going up to Dublin with the Down syndrome lads the other day was we got a bus.
Yeah.
So we went up on the bus with the lads and the parents and made a day of it, and had food, and they got their kit and
Brilliant.
like them things we was able to get through funding, which helps. But if we didn't have that, we wouldn't be able to provide a bus, and we wouldn't be able to provide a full kit for the lads. And they're all the things that we need more support and help from. And like from a government point of view and from the local TDs and stuff like that, they do need to get behind the sports clubs, and because listen, it's a way of them getting, like, if you get behind a Cork City Football Club, you've got 6,000-7,000 people probably getting behind you when you're looking to do something. So like, we do, when they want votes and they want things, like, it's an easy fix, isn't it? If you're being the one that supports a Cork City Football Club and you're getting behind them and giving them everything and helping them, then all them fans that are going to games and people are on the social media, which I wouldn't be able to tell you the numbers how we might be able to do that, they're going to be behind you and support you. And I think that's the biggest thing, is like getting them people into the games, getting them to see what we do, come out and watch the DS football, come out and come down to do a walking football session, join in and be a part of it. And like, you might be something you actually enjoy doing, want to be a part of.
And will you continue all them now during the winter months, or do they stop with the season, or what happens with the likes of walking football, the Monday memories? What happens with all them now?
So walking football will continue probably up until around early December.
Okay.
Junior academy go up till mid-December, and then the DS we're going to try and keep going up until mid-December as well.
Yeah.
With the Down syndrome football, I want to try and keep that going, because
I
don't want to. There's only one tournament a year, and I spoke with a couple of the lads in the FEI about maybe doing more regional tournament showcases. So like, could we have like us, Waterford, Treaty,
just playing a few matches,
just one, even if it's once a month, just like to keep it going. And like, I'll give up my time to do it. I want to do it, and like, the kids all want to do it and the parents want to do it, and we want to support it as a club. So it's getting more things like that going. So look, we'll probably go up to around early, probably second week of December with everything. And then we'll have a little break and then be back into it in January, mid-January time. And
the Monday memories will continue until then as well, will they?
Yeah, we're gonna see how many of the lads if we can get the trophy
off after the season. Get the trophy and obviously, and maybe one or two players if they're still around.
And get them to come in and talk about the season, and hopefully we can get Tim into one of the days, and so the lads can, because the lads have got so many questions, like so many things they'd love to know answers on, and not from a wanting to know sort of thing, more like from a footballing aspect. What made you kind of go that way, and having like, because they do have good knowledge of the game, and they've been football fans for 30, 40 years. So like, and they can tell you about old players who've been there in the past. It's trying to get a few special guests to come down now on the Mondays, and trying to get them to come in and have chats with lads. Like, I'm going to try and get hopefully Phil Harrington in a couple of weeks and come and get him in and have a chat with him.
Brilliant.
And, Phil probably had the longest career. I think I even played with Phil at for a couple of games. But
surprised he's still not playing.
Continue to keep going. Like, just because the season's finished doesn't mean we stop. We still keep trying to build the club, grow the club, keep trying to get people interested in it. Because if we all stop, then the interest and everything's gone. Then
so it's important to keep it going over the winter. Well, look, enjoy some of the break, whatever break you have. It doesn't sound like you'll have much. I think maybe just not coaching for a bit might help with the rest of the hours. But I'm sure we'll have you on a good few times next season again, and we look forward to finding out. You'll give us the exclusive maybe of who's signing for the women's team before the start. And best of luck over the winter, Danny, and I'm sure we'll talk again soon.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, and thanks for all the support and everything this year, and especially like the people who have come out to games. I just want to let them know that we do appreciate people coming out and being a part of it, and some of the clubs that have brought buses of girls out to games,
Brilliant.
like they've been a big part of our success this season, and only if that can continue, we can continue to grow as a club.
Definitely, yeah. He was actually a bit positive. What do you think?
Yeah, he was, but like, you could be down, you could be negative about it, but
Could be, yeah.
like, there's nothing you can do about it. Do you know what
I think
it's done now.
he focused on the fact that there was a lot of good moments in the season, a lot of young players gelling with kind of international players that came, the likes of Colleen Dorrow and stuff, and Becky coming in and stuff like that, helping them. The wonder goals that were definitely like, there's amazing.
Yeah.
You do have to create a video for that. Like.
Yeah, you know what, funnily enough, Danny said there about a goal of the season vote. We are doing that actually, but we always do.
But are you going to put the men and the women together or separately?
I think they will be. I think they'll be together. That's the way the League of Ireland do it. For the overall.
There's probably underage
goal
ones,
of the month or
the academy ones.
There's a few crackers there
I'd
as well.
say
So
yeah.
we just need to get footage. It's harder to get footage from those games, but if we can get them,
But
they'll be
most of the ones that are in Bishopstown, though, they're nearly all covered by some sort of.
they're streamed, so there is
It would
footage.
be
from
just a
there,
case of going back over the videos.
going back and finding them. Yeah.
Asking the coaches.
Someone has them clipped somewhere anyway. Yeah, someone has them.
I'm
clipped.
sure there's coaches have them. Trust me. Actually, the players themselves would know.
They'll definitely
Trust
have them,
me,
yeah.
they'll know.
Yeah,
So
if someone has scored a cracker, they have the footage.
if any of the players are listening to this or their parents and they know when them goals happen, send them into Aaron there. So save him going
Get
through
them over.
hours of footage when you have enough things going on.
But just what Danny was talking about there, like, talk about the goals, for example, or the big moments, like the big wins. You know, you're beating Shamrock at home, you're the goal against Bows in the Cup.
Yeah.
Yes, there were downs, but the highs this season were very high. Do you know what I mean? Like, there were
And
some
you
really
remember
big
them.
moments. Yeah, they're the ones that will stand out.
Yeah.
Sligo away, great win, good goal from Colleen.
Yeah.
The one he spoke about there against Galway, you know, all the mad, I think it was 21, 22
Brilliant.
passes. And not only that, but the finish from Barrett afterwards is brilliant as well. Like, so it is.
And Eva's
up and
goal
down.
earlier in the season as well. Like that
Away
went
to Bows, yeah. And then, funnily enough, 3 of the best goals this year, Eva away to Bows, Doro at home to Bows, and Orla at home to Bows. So Bows kind of took a bit of a battering from us this year. But
So I'm waiting for Cathal O'Sullivan to play Bows at the start of next season.
yeah, Bows at home on the first day would be nice, wouldn't it?
Because he definitely produced the best ones for the men's team this
He did.
year.
He did, yeah.
He can
Yeah.
nearly produce 2 kind of duplicate goals in the space of
It's
about
probably
week
a
or two,
case
innit?
of we probably need to do like a goal of the month or goal of the season, and then like a Cathal O'Sullivan goal of the season, and see which one of his.
No, Barry
that was
Coffey got
everyone's
some
favourite.
screamers as well.
He did. There was a couple of really good goals this year, to be honest.
Yeah, Millie got 1 or 2, and there's been a few.
Jack at the start.
Yeah, Jack as well. Yeah. So, but and do you know what's interesting about that as well is a lot of people be wondering what happens with Danny after, because there is a long break. Like
It's a mass, men and women's. It's a really
Very
long
long.
off season. We spoke about it before. It's almost ridiculously long
Yeah.
because, like for the men now, for example, we'll finish up on Friday as
especially
well.
when you're in the first division.
Yeah, because the Premier
ridiculous,
goes on
yeah.
another couple of weeks. So like we'll
And
finish
obviously
up.
playoffs, like,
We'll finish up now on Friday on the men's side, and the league might not start till, was it the 2nd, 3rd week of February normally? Like that's
4 months. Like,
it's ridiculous. Like
what are we going to do?
I don't know. Preseason won't be too long away. So, well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. People are always like, "Oh, what do you do now when the matches end?" We've got signings, season tickets,
That's
merch.
true.
We're busier. Like there's more to be done when there's no matches on.
Yeah, so you mentioned already that there could be a couple of re-signings, but is there any talk about new signings, no?
I don't know. I find these things out just before other people find them out. I find them out when they're ready to go public. So
You don't even give it enough time to have like a little teaser. When Rory was signing back, I saw that after I saw that he had signed.
That one we were under a lot of time pressure. For that I'd love to have a
Did he
little
give
bit
us
more.
a day or something to
That
build
was
up momentum.
a day. Trust me, an hour is too long.
Yeah.
The angry tweets, like people love a teaser for 5 or 10 minutes,
Yeah.
and then after that they're just like, "Come on, like I'm sick of this." So
Or send it to
a day.
Fabrizio Romano or someone. Like,
If I did it for a day, I'd have to go in hiding because someone would hunt me down and say, "Post it." But the Keating one, I think we announced it at. I'll never forget. We announced at 1:30, and I think I put the teaser out after it hit 1:29 just to get some bit of buzz.
That. Yeah. So there'll be plenty, and obviously we have a couple of things coming up soon. Well, first of all, this Friday night.
That's the big one.
That's the big one.
That's the big one. We've got a busy weekend actually because we're talking about the season coming to an end, but we've got the trophy lift on Friday night, and we've got the under-15 League of Ireland final, the Michael Hayes Cup final on Sunday night.
Who are we playing in
which
that?
is Cork City's 15s against Pat's 15s, St. Pat's. So, busy weekend. I suppose the main thing from our point of view is we are absolutely asking everyone to please stay off the pitch on Friday night because we need the pitch to be in great nick on Sunday. And look, if we have hundreds or thousands of people on the pitch on Friday, it's going to cause damage. We don't want to.
And we were already on the pitch for UCD.
Exactly, yeah, it's done now. Look, we're over it. Like, just let the lads lift the trophy.
Stay singing in the crowd, like.
Yeah, so look, we don't want to hamper anyone's chance of getting to play, getting to win on Sunday night. So the main thing is just respect that, respect the pitch, and look, I think if people do run on the pitch, it's going to mess up the plan for the trophy lift and delay the trophy lift. And look, we don't want that.
Yes.
Nobody wants that.
Nobody.
Let's get in, watch the match, get the trophy lift done. We can all go home. We can all go out, whatever you want to do. But look, it's the main thing for us is there's going to be a big crowd there. It's going to be a great atmosphere, but just please stay off the pitch.
And do you know what? It's nice to celebrate these moments. You know, you don't get to lift that many trophies in your career either. So for the players, it's a big one.
Yeah, do you know what? And I've seen a bit of this. And don't get me wrong, I get it. We all believe that Cork City is a really big club. We should be in the Premier, competing for the Premier, which we should. Of course, no one's going to disagree with that. And look, obviously the First Division trophy isn't. I don't want to disrespect the First Division, but like we won it 2 years ago. People are like, "Oh, we shouldn't be celebrating." But to be honest with you, I think we should. Like,
I think we should as well. Yeah.
Look at how many leagues there are, how many clubs there are in each league. A lot of clubs supporters never get to see their team lift a trophy. It's something we've won. It's done now. We'll celebrate it on Friday, and then we're done. We're on to next year, but
Listen,
I think it's still important.
Nobody wants to win the Premier Division, so like
yeah, I know, yeah. So we should at least be proud of the one that we've won.
Yeah,
that's mad, isn't it? Yeah, I think is it
go
5?
To the last day?
It'll go to the last day, and chances are it won't be one of the top 3 who win it, which is
could be Pats.
Ridiculous.
Yeah,
or the top 2 at least, anyway.
But so enjoy it. I'd say we have a fairly full house.
Look, ticket sales are good. Ticket sales are very good. Yeah, so we
and the word is out there that there's a trophy lift, and that is a nice thing as well. Celebration.
People love a trophy lift. People love a reason to celebrate.
There's a bandwagon. Let's jump on it.
And that bandwagon is in full speed now.
Everyone's welcome to join it.
And absolutely. Yeah,
continue on to next season. That's what I would say.
Look, if someone comes along on Friday night and this is their first Cork City game, brilliant.
Happy days.
They'll experience a great atmosphere. They'll see a trophy lift.
So wasn't your first match the last?
It absolutely was. Yeah,
jump on a first bandwagon.
I am the definition of bandwagon. And I can't escape. I'm stuck here.
So and actually, do you know what? It is a great time if you have, maybe if there's kids or anything like that have never been to a game, or like a niece or a nephew or a neighbour's kid or whatever, that you want to introduce them to League of Ireland football. This is brilliant because they think this is happening all the time.
Absolutely, yeah. Bring a friend, bring your cousin, your neighbour, whatever it is.
Or maybe
someone from school.
We had international night there a few weeks ago. A lot of people would have international friends now that live here. There's a lot of people from across Europe that maybe are working here now and stuff like that. And they're into football probably. They watch it at home.
100%.
Bring them, show them.
Introduce them to Cork City and the League of Ireland and say that we're going up to the Premier Division. And I've never seen so much talk about Premier Division. We were just joking about it a while ago that nobody wants to win, but there's a lot of media attention on that battle at the moment. Yeah, and the relegation battle.
And we'll be up there next season with all of those teams, and we'll get the media attention. And what we want to show is that we have the biggest crowds.
Absolutely, yeah. Look at the crowds we're getting. The crowd we'll have on Friday night. I don't know what other fixtures are on, but we'll be up there and probably in the top 3, 2, maybe the highest attended game on Friday night. Including the Premier Division, I mean. But yeah, we want to be there. We want to be in the mix. It looks like anyone can win it. So let's throw our hat in the mix next year.
We'll have to go off it if they don't want to win it.
Once we're not involved in the other battle that's going on, which is the relegation battle at the other end, which is a mad one. Like Dundalk can go down on Friday.
Yeah.
Bows can be pulled right into it. Like
Bows never go down.
This could be like, could you imagine a Premier Division year where Dundalk and Bows get relegated?
Yeah. That'd be mad.
Yeah. Now it's again huge outside chance that happens.
Yeah, because probably one of them will win the playoffs as well. Like, but
depending on who goes up in the playoff. Yeah. And like if you look at Bows, if Bows do get pulled into the playoff, struggled is probably the wrong word, but they didn't get past Kerry in the cup very easily.
Yeah.
And there are teams in the First Division who have beaten Kerry and would be better sides than Kerry, who
way better
would be coming up against Bows in the playoffs. So like, I wouldn't be.
And on their day,
You don't want to go into a playoff thinking we're fine. Do you know, like, because some of us probably did that last year as supporters when we went into the playoff, and it didn't work out that way. So, mad.
It's mad.
This must be one of the most entertaining Premier Divisions. It's disappointing in a way that we're not there and we couldn't enjoy it or be a part of it as much because we were focusing on the first division. But this must be one of the most entertaining ones ever.
What did I see? I see a stat on Twitter or something. 60% of the teams could still win the league, like with 3 games left.
Yeah, the top. I think it's down as far as
Sligo.
It might be up to 5th now. I think Sligo could still be in the mix as well. It's at 6. I think it's
Galway, definitely.
Shells, Derry, Rovers, Galway, Pats, and Sligo can mathematically still win it. Yeah,
which you that's crazy.
That's there was a time I remember going back to 2017 when we were top and we were so far ahead that second place Dundalk for a period would have been closer to the relegation zone than being near us.
I'm sure at one stage we were like 24 points ahead or something along those lines.
I think so. We won the first 12 games of the season,
because we had won so many matches in a row.
We won the opening 12.
Yeah.
So second place at that point was closer to relegation, which at the time I think was 12th. Like there was more teams in the league, whereas now the top 6 can win it, which is insane.
Mad. In terms of Sunday, then, can you just turn up?
Tickets are on sale. They're on Ticket Co. So basically, where you'd buy your Cork City tickets as normal, it's a 3 p.m. kickoff. So if you go on to corkcityfc.ie/tickets, you can get your tickets from there.
Brilliant. Speaking of tickets still available for the City to the Doyle Laughing?
They are. They're selling well, actually. Yeah. So I wouldn't leave it too late to get tickets there. They're tipping away nicely. Just in case you don't know the details of that, that's on Thursday, the 31st of October.
Which is only 2 weeks.
Yeah, and there's 5 of Ireland's funniest, it's about 2 weeks, 5 of Ireland's funniest comedians involved there. Andrew Ryan, Chris Kent, Shane Todd, Emma Doran and John Cleary. They're all hilarious, and this is going to be a very, very funny night. It's in the Everyman, corkcityfc.ie/comedy. You can get tickets for that.
Am I hearing that there's another event happening in November?
We're like an events company. Yeah, we have the 40th.
When there's no football.
The 40th anniversary night. By the time this pod comes out, this is going to be on social media. You'll know all about it. It's going to be. We'll have posters all over Turner's Cross on Friday as well. So, this is essentially at the anniversary celebration night. 16th of November at the Clayton Hotel on Laps Quay. €99 ahead for tickets.
Clarion for those of you that are living in the past.
Exactly, yeah. It's €99 ahead per ticket. It's, you get your meal, all that crack. There's a drinks reception from 6:45. Dinner served at 8. The Frank and Walters are there with music. We've got a live DJ afterwards as well. It's also where your Player of the Year awards are going to be handed out. So your men's team, women's team, stuff like that.
And who votes for that?
It'll be a public vote, so we'll put it up. There'll obviously be the players' Player of the Year and stuff like that. They'll vote for internally, but no, we'll have all this public, and then we'll have like on stage interviews with the winners and the management and stuff like that. So it's going to be a really fun night actually. So that's the 16th of November. It's a Saturday night at the Clayton.
That's only a month away.
Yeah, a month today actually, isn't it?
Yeah. So all the team will be there, the management and the whole lot. Yeah.
That's the big night. Yeah. We'll have as many as possible that we can get there anyway. Yeah.
Yes, you could fit about 300 or 400 in there. I think you can, and maybe
I think it's close to 3. Yeah, and it's going to be tables of 10, so you can. Groups can buy tickets, individuals can buy tickets, whatever it is.
I presume sponsors could come along and buy a table or whatever. Yeah, I know some of them listen to this.
People can get in touch with Matt or Anthony on the commercial side. Yeah. Their email details will be all over our social medias as normal. But if you want to just buy a ticket, you can go to corkcityfc.ie/40th.
An excuse to get dialed up and
exactly. Yeah, suited and booted.
Yeah. So very. It's exciting though because that kind of shortens the winter as well.
Yeah, it gives people something to look forward to in the off season as well. And obviously, around that, after that, then you're coming into the Christmas period when we'll have lots of new things going on at the club. So it's exciting,
including the kits.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So hopefully,
look, they're coming. They're coming.
So we'll have information about all those things in the coming weeks, and even though the season is coming to an end, we won't be finishing. At the moment, anyway, we've no plans. We might take a little break in between, but just plenty to talk about.
Full steam ahead for us, yeah. We're going to be busy. We're going to have, as the off-season goes, I've got this plan. We're going to have players signing. We'll be catching a couple of minutes with players here and there as they're signing. Might get a few out here if they're available. I know the off-season can be tricky because people are off until pre-season, but we'll catch who we can. We'll get them out here.
And we'll keep it going. We're keeping it going because people listen.
Exactly, yeah. And look, we've had great feedback again. I know we spoke about it last week. particularly the Rory Keating episode. There was brilliant feedback on it, but I don't know about you. I'm still getting DMs and Instagram messages and tweets and stuff like that about the pod, and people are really enjoying it. So we're happy to provide the service and to
keep it going.
Exactly. If you're happy to listen to us, we're happy to waffle here on a Tuesday or Wednesday morning, whatever it is.
Yeah, no, and well, I suppose we're looking forward to Friday night. We're looking forward to the young lads playing on Sunday then, and plenty of events coming up. So it's a busy time, and I'm sure we'll be back next week to review the trophy lift. We might even bring the trophy in and talk to it. I don't know. We'll do something.
Might give it a knock or something so you can hear it to know it's here. Yeah, but look, Friday night, that's the big one.
Yeah.
Wear your Cork City colours, bring your scarves, your flags, whatever you have. This is the big one. Get out. Like, there's going to be a lot of cameras.
There'll be loads of media attention.
A lot of videos. I know I've got a lot of people coming to do pitch side video and stuff like that, and we're going to be filming the crowd. So bring your colours. Yeah. Get your face painted. Get your Cork City colours on, whatever you want to do.
Let's show off the rest of the country.
Exactly, yeah. Let's show how brilliant we are and end on a high so that we're ready to come in and start on a high again at the start of 2025. I suppose after this, we'll all be looking for the fixtures to see who we get on the first day.
Yeah, so we're looking forward to all that. So
yeah, hopefully a big home game, big Dublin team, first day. Get it on TV.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, we'll be back with another podcast next week and as I said, review of what's after happening and maybe some exciting news. Who knows?
Maybe, yeah. And look, we spoke about as well, we're going to have a bit of a special episode where we'll sort of take questions from the listeners. You know, people have questions about things that have gone on this year. We'll put out a call for questions and we'll try our best to provide answers to whatever questions you may have, because we see it in the messages and the tweets we get. Something that might be normal or mundane to us, someone has a question about it. So we'll do that and we'll try and give as much of an insight as we can. But in the meantime, if you're listening on Spotify, there's a comments box below, so you can give us your feedback, give us your ideas, what you want to see from us for the off season. If you want us to change it up, give us a shout and we'll do our best.
We'll take it all on board. So until then, talk to you later.
See you next week.